So I've gone ahead and made 17 chain stitches so that I can make a row of 15 half double crochet stitches. I need 2 turning chains at the top. So the first thing you're going to do is yarn over and insert your hook into the 3rd chain stitch down from the hook. Make sure to get the V on there. You'll yarn over and pull up a loop so that you have 3. You'll yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And there you have your first half double crochet stitch. So yarn over into the work, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 3, yarn over, and through all 3. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, and through all 3. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, and through 3. These stitches are a little taller than single crochet stitches, and they have a very nice texture that I prefer for scarves and hats. When you're doing things, make sure you're yarning over correctly. So when the yarn is wrapped around your hook, it comes over like this. And this is where practice with tension was good from before, because it can be a little tricky to pull through all 3 loops at once if your yarn is too tight. Alright, and there you have your first row of half double crochet stitches. As you can see, it's already as tall as 2 rows of single crochet stitches. So to make the next row, you'll do a turning chain of 2, turn to see the back, strings on this side now, yarn over, into the work, pull up a loop, yarn over, through all 3. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over, to have a loop, yarn over, through 3. Remember to keep count, because like before, I could have accidentally added another stitch right here. So now, I have 2 rows. Chain 2 to turn the work, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 3. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over, through 3. To keep things stable, I usually pinch. So I've pulled up my 3 loops and I pinch at the base of that stitch so that when I move my hook, I'm not making these loops bigger. Remember, bright yarn that's easy to see. I have no trouble seeing where my stitches should go. Okay, last row. 2 chains for the turn, flip the work, yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over, through all 3. This first stitch is always a little more difficult because of the chains. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, 3 on the hook, yarn over, through 3, yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over, through 3. Alright, and that's 4 rows of half double crochet. You can see how much bigger 4 rows is of half double crochet in comparison with single crochet. So now I'll finish off. I'll cut my yarn, pull that through to get a little knot, tighten that down. And weave in my ends. Remember to tug it out a little bit so it's not too tight. Go back the other way. Snip the yarn. Give it one more tug to kind of pull that in and hide it. And there you go. 4 rows of half double crochet. Now practice that for a bit and then move on to the next section of double crochets. Alright, I've chained 18 to make 15 double crochet stitches. So you'll have a turning chain of 3 for these. So you yarn over, and you count down to the 4th chain from the hook, put it into the work, make sure you get the V, yarn over to pull up a loop, so you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 this time, yarn over through the last 2. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And now you're making double crochet stitches. All the terminology that I use is going to be American crochet terminology. So if you come across a pattern, make sure that you know which terminology it's using. Other countries might call this a treble stitch instead of a double. Alright, and there's your first row. "15 stitches. So now you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Now, turning your work and doing rows in double crochet is a little bit different than doing it in single or in half double. This is going to act as your first stitch. So yarn over, skip where you would normally put your first stitch and go to that second space. Yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Yarn over into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Yarn over into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay, so here at the end, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If I had crocheted into that first space like I normally would have with a single crochet or a half double crochet, I would actually have 16 stitches here at the end. So, chain 3 to turn and make your first half double crochet stitch. Skip that first spot, go into the second one, yarn over through the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over into the work, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And okay, so I've made it to the end of this third row, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stitches. This right here is the turning chain, and normally we don't crochet into that. However, this on a double crochet is our first stitch technically. So yarn over into the top of that turning chain. It can be a little more difficult, it tends to be tighter. Yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That way we still have 15 crochet stitches. Make your 3-stitch turning chain, flip it, and it becomes your first stitch. Yarn over into the work, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Yarn over into the work, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Double crochet stitches tend to be used to make blankets and a lot of other things because they work up quickly. They breathe well if you're using cotton yarn. They drape nicely, but they're not as loose as an American treble crochet. Sometimes, if you're like me and your turning chains are maybe a little bit tight and you have trouble getting into this, I twist my hook around and use the tip of the hook to kind of force my way through like that. Pull up a loop to loosen it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And there you have it, 4 rows of double crochet. Now I'll just cut the yarn. Pull it through to make a knot. And now I'll get my needle and weave in my ends. Trim and a bit of a tug to adjust. And there you have it, 4 rows of double crochet. You can see that it's much taller than the other kinds of stitches because it has more loops and is a bit looser. These are your 3 most used stitch kinds, in my opinion. So practice these, get a good grip on them, and next week I'll show you a couple of ways to work in circles instead of in rows. For that, you're not going to need any new supplies, just some acrylic yarn, the right size hook, scissors, and a needle. So I'll see you next week. Bye.